Now, I think apart from your first two events, the first one was at ICGC, the second one was at Assemblies.
Yes, Living Word Assemblies.
All the other ones have been at.
Yes, we had
Reverend Adade's church.
No, we had I think two more at Living Word before we moved to Glorious Zion Missions International. So we've had it consistently there, even up until now. So this year's edition will be held at Glorious Zion, and I thank the life of the church's leadership, the late Apostle Emmanuel Adade, and then the wife Mama Mercy Free Adade, for believing in us and then always holding us down, giving us the platform to be able to do this there. So we really have the entire support of the church when it comes to this, because people will not give you, that opportunity to, do that if you are not, led by the Spirit or, exuding what, Christ really wants us to do. So I think that their lives, and then I believe that, subsequently we would have very great fellowships when it comes to making Jesus proud.
Wow. Now, talking about Reverend Adade, how was the relationship with him like?
It was very good. I mean, he was a man that really inspired me in terms of worship. He was a great singer as well, aside, being a preacher. So I always loved fellowshipping. So anytime I happen to be in Obuasi, that's where I fellowship. Yeah. Okay. So it has been a very, very good relationship in terms of fellowshipping with God, getting to know the Lord and then His Word, and then also worship in terms of leading the congregation and the like. So I always recount after our usual praise and worship sessions, when he comes on stage, that moment where we have that few minutes of adoration again before the word comes into play. Those were times I really cherish the most, because we get to do that together on the stage before the actual word comes out. Yeah. Wow. So it's a very, very good one.
Wow. How much do you miss him?
Very, very well. I mean, he's totally irreplaceable, but I know he's in a better place. Yeah.
Wow. 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 I only knew him from afar, but I mean, the testimonies about him are always good.
Most definitely, yeah.
Let's talk about family. How have you been combining life as a development consultant?
Yeah.
Music, family.
Yeah, I know it's just been by grace. I wouldn't say there's been a perfect balance, you understand, because corporate wise, I'm being held up in terms of responsibilities there as well. And now I'm a married man too. So I also have to take care of responsibilities at home, and then as well balance family in terms of nuclear family stuff. I mean, we are a very close bonded family. We have, even up until now, people are working elsewhere. My brother works in Kumasi, and my sister is here with me in Accra, and I have other family also in Obuasi, but every week we still have our prayer sessions together, by the grace of God. That is something that keeps us together. And so by that, we are able to check how everybody is doing, what is happening in everybody's life, and then we are able to still go before God together as a family. Yeah. By the grace of God, I try to blend my work so well, although it's very demanding, but I have a very good boss who I love so much, and I know he also understands what I do as a music minister. I know when I was interviewing with them, I made mention that I'm a gospel singer. So I don't know how that came about in the conversation, but they asked me to sing in my interview, and it was just whack. By that time, I'd released the song with CC.
Okay.
I think it was just few weeks before I had to go for the interview. That was in 2019.
Wow.
And he asked me to sing, and I just messed up. Because I had rehearsed the things I wanted to say corporate wise, interview, question and answer things. So my mind was not even on music, and out of the blue there comes, can you sing your song for us? So fortunately, when I released my album, this was like 2 years after I deliberately sent copies to him to go and compensate the fact that I couldn't really match up to expectation vocally during an interview. I mean, but by the grace of God, I still got a job, and
Wow.
yeah, he's also a man of God, so understands what I do. So I have the space to still blend my music here, at my work. My previous job, I remember the boss told me, I think they realized I was doing music, you understand, and then he told some of the guys that, oh, this guy, just give him some few months, he will stop the music. There and then I knew, no, I don't belong here. You understand? Because I mean, it's not just about trying to milk the people you work with and then satisfying your objectives as an organization, but you give room for people to unearth their skill, and by that they're able to bring their best selves to work.
True.
And that is what we get in our organization now. Yeah, so I really love my place and the bond we have together, as a team at my workplace. And by the grace of God, I have a very beautiful and understanding wife who also, supports me the more. Times when I get stuff, I know she's always there to encourage me and the like. So it has been a good blend, trying to, balance corporate work with ministry and family. Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting. Now tell us about your wife. How did you meet her? And okay. Why did you choose her that is you?
I don't know how I met my wife. There is always a way, so stuff. I don't recall the year, but I knew her big sister. Yeah, Priscilla. My wife is called Sarafina. I knew her big sister from way back, so I just saw her post. I didn't even know she had a little sister. So one time she just posted her on Facebook. I said, hey, who is this? Understand? So I started having interest from there because she looked beautiful, at first glance. So I, in a way, connected and became friends online, and then she got to know I was doing music. So she was actually at my first program.
Wow. But
I didn't know her, by that time. So it was later on when I was watching the videos that I saw there's somebody at the corner somewhere. I asked that, hey, was this you? And she said yes. That was when I was actually there. So she actually came see me sing, but I didn't even know she existed. Wow. Yeah, so such is life. So I know I gave her my number online to call me. I don't know how. I know normally guys try to get their numbers, but she always says I'm prideful. But that was my own strategy. So I know I'm not. That was my own strategy of trying to play my cards well, such that it wouldn't be like a bounce. Okay. Understand? So I rather give her my number. If you want to vibe, call me. So she didn't call until some time I was there, and then I heard this nice voice. Hello, this is Serafina. I said, oh, finally the call came through. Yeah, so there we started vibing, became friends for like 6 months. It was a very good friendship. I loved, that era where, I hadn't really had a best friend until that time. So yeah, we're virtually talking every day. She came for almost all my events. So I think I invited her to one event, Reason for My Existence. Yeah, was being organized by Minister Bibi. Yeah, so that was when I actually told her to come. I think that was the first time I saw her in person, although we had been speaking. Yeah, so she came for the event and we eventually met. That same day, I don't know whether someone was trying to make advances on me or something, so I used her as a way to get off the person. So I just saw her and embraced her, and the person said, why is this your girlfriend? I said, oh yes, that's my girlfriend. And we walked away. So in a way she saved me from that encounter, which I wanted to escape from. So that was how our friendship started. Wow. And then we vibed on up until somewhere in, I've forgotten the years. So we actually dated for long, for about 7 years before we even got married. For 6 or 7 years before we got married, yeah. So 6 months along the line, that was where I actually proposed to her to be my girlfriend. Wow. So she was doing herself that kind of girl things, you understand? I mean, she was in the University of Ghana by then. I went to finish school. You two are in love. Why do you want to finish school? You understand? So I managed to convince her in a way. That this was somewhere, I think it was on December 25th. Wow. I was seated at an event. I didn't know why, but I was convicted to move out of the event to go and propose. It was that strange. I recall I was really seated. It was a carol service I had been invited to. So I think after administration or something, I had to go straight to her house, find a way to get her out of her gate, and I got her a nice present, and as Christmas presents, I would say, before I made my intentions known. Yeah, so. Oh yeah, it worked. I mean, it worked, and she is actually a very great person, lovely and very, very understanding. And here we are as a couple.
Wow.
Yeah.
As a minister, in what way do you think that your choice of spouse has helped you, giving you maybe stability, and helped you maybe move forward in your ministry?
Yeah, it's very essential that you get someone who understands what you do, else it's going to cost you along the line. We've seen several instances where men of God either go off track, or lose the potential or the fire they used to carry, all because of a spouse. And that is one thing I always pray to God, that I will not encounter that. For me, I actually saw us in the future doing this with me, you understand, which I always told her. She was that kind that would say, oh, I don't want to marry a pastor, although I'm not a pastor though, but once they see you doing music, they know you are tilting towards that angle. So she was that kind of person. So, but even when I introduced her to my pastor, we had that conversation where she was made to understand that I'm a ministry person, you understand, and definitely you would have an influence on how, stable your spouse's ministry would go, you understand. So it's a very, very important thing, we get to choose the right person, and I believe I have done so, because I didn't do that in a haste. It came through prayer, very good bonding, over the years, and it tests the waters, and we've been able to tell that this would work before we actually went to the altar to bless it. So I think it's something every minister has to consider. It's not a rush. Just pray to God for direction when you are in doubt, and I believe that we will definitely stand the test of time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good advice and a good testimony about your wife.
Yes.
Wow. Now let's talk about making Jesus proud. So this is the 10th edition.
Yeah.
10 years. Charlie,
by the grace of God. By the grace of God.
Holding an event for 10 years.
Yeah. As I mentioned, I don't know how, but it has just been happening. There are times where I would feel, okay, I wouldn't want to do this year, but in a way I find myself doing it. When COVID came, we still did a recording, and held a virtual one for that matter. Last year, people were thinking I was not going to do it because I got married in November. Who does like wedding and an event in December? But it happened, and it was a success. So I believe God has his way of doing things. And as I always do mention, it hasn't been by my mind or my own abilities. It has been by the special grace of God, seeing his word come to pass. You understand? Because he knows what he's doing. And I bless the life of my team too for, being consistent with me. And then even when I'm away, they still rehearse, back to back when I'm away, doing corporate stuff, and I do join them and then, try to polish up things before we get on stage. So it has been a good journey, collaborative efforts, and backed by prayer. And here we are today, trusting God to stage the 10th edition. And I know we are not ending at 10, we are just climbing, and until God comes, wow. we are still going to be doing this.
Wow, yeah. I must commend you. Pa.
Thank you.
You've really been consistent at it. And so, what has been some of the highlights and maybe testimonies of organizing the event so far?
I think I would state mine. Reason I even chose Testify, for the album. Because along the line, there were things I was really trusting God for, which he eventually came through for, close friends and then myself. I know I have a very good friend, Emmanuel Kunedu, whom I usually pray together on the Black Park at Linkley. So there we really trusted God for things relating to family, work, because out of school it's not easy to, get straight into employment. I know there are lots of people still struggling. A study mate of mine from the university whom even encouraged me, up until now, we are still trying to help settle. So it's not an easy thing, or automatic trying to get in the right place in terms of a career, getting, your family intact health-wise and the like. But, engaging God throughout all of these times, saw him come through for my close friends in terms of employment, in terms of, healing, health-wise. And then I know making Jesus proud, the word alone makes you an enemy of Satan. You understand? Because you are not in his camp. I recall, I think, was it like 2 or 3 years back? I've not really shared this with lots of people. I think some of my family members may not even know, because there were attacks health-wise even for me, to the point that I had to go have a surgery, which didn't even happen. And it was supposed to happen on the week of my event. Wow. So it was either I stayed back in Accra, go do that surgery, or go and make Jesus proud.
Wow.
So I had to choose. It was just funny, and this comes at a very high cost. I even took the invoice to my boss, and it was like, this is up there. You understand? Those kind of things you'd see on social media, people trying to solicit for funds to support this. But I trusted God.
Wow.
And my schedule to meet a doctor for that, I didn't even go, because I had to be in Obuasi then, because we already had even flyers out that are making Jesus proud. How would you be on a sick bed? You understand? So I went through some procedures, scans and the like. The doctors couldn't even interpret it, although they sent me to go and do it. You understand? But they couldn't even read to understand. So I had done what I had to do, and then they asked me to do that, but I had to stand my ground and trust God. So I didn't go for that, appointment, but rather moved to Obuasi to make Jesus proud. And I was so active on stage as if nothing happened.
Wow.
And since then, the thing has vanished. Like, I haven't even seen traits of them anywhere, to the extent I have to even be in a hospital. You understand? So it has just been miracles upon miracles. And I know I shared this with Reverend Akwabua I don't know whether I told my dad about it, but my mom, because they are quite emotional, so I know I have not told her. Yeah, but most of the people who are close to me knew about this, but I think it has just been, one of those times where God really comes through for you when you trust Him at 100. Yeah.
Wow. So more like you had a miraculous healing.
Yes. I mean, even when we were preparing on stage, I still felt it. My pastor was there, knew about it. You understand? But when the time was up for me to go out there, do my ministrations up until, subsequently, there's no traits. So it's a matter of, a decision whether you trusted God to heal you or you'd rather go to the doctor to do that healing for you. You understand? But I mean, God is a faithful God. And I believe, people might have not told me, straight up things that they might have encountered, all through these years. But I believe God is doing wonders. I mean, this is just personally for which I can, express it well. But I'm sure if we give people the chance to speak about, what they've gone through in terms of these years and these encounters, it will just be mind-blowing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And I think maybe one day you can think of doing that. You can
Oh yes,
do a documentary.
I mean, it's all part of it, It's all part of the ministry. It tends to encourage folks who might have lost faith in God or trust in God for a breakthrough. And believing that once God is in the building doing it for my neighbor, He's able and even willing to do it exceedingly and abundantly above what we think on or ask of Him. So it is a very good thing we do, to ensure that people are testifying about, what God is doing in their lives.
Wow. So let's talk about your this 10th edition. When is it happening?
Right. So the 10th edition of Making Jesus Proud by Max Gyams and the New Birth Minstrels is going to happen on the 22nd of December, 2024, starting at 5 o'clock at the Glorious Zion Missions International in Obuasi. Yeah. So by the special grace of God, this year's theme is His Banner Be Raised, because we want to project Jesus to the nations, celebrate Jesus and make His name known to all and sundry. So we are entreating everyone to come around. Let us worship, let us celebrate God for His goodness for these 10 years. And we believe that once Jesus is in the building, signs and wonders, miracles will follow through as we celebrate.
Wow. Are there any artists on the bill? Or?
Yes. So joining us in worship would be my own brother Joshua Ahenkra. We have Minister Paulo also joining us. We have Minister Prince Ochri, my own protege in Obuasi. And then we have Patricia. Patricia is with Trinity Music Crew in Cape Coast. Yeah, also joining us. She has been in some of our editions way back, So it's going to be a very good fellowship together, and I believe God is going to come through.
Wow.
Yes.
And is there any music cooking?
Definitely, but not in this edition, because for this we want to celebrate. Okay. So there will be a separate recording, specifically for that. Yeah. Because for this year we are looking at really revamping the songs we've done over the years. Yeah. So that is the way to go for us this year. So it's not going to be like recording of new songs, but rather
recording of old songs.
If you put it that way, yeah, because we want to acknowledge the process where we've come from, what God has done through us. And I believe those are things or music that people can even relate to because they've heard it over the years. And definitely once we do that together, we are able to move in the spirit. Yeah.
Wow. That's impressive. But anyway, I enjoy your local worship.
Okay.
Like the 2 editions I did, the local worships that you had, I enjoyed all of them.
Yeah.
That's why I don't know whether when I met you, I was pushing for you to come for your content.
That's true.
Like, this content you could post. Why is it not my PC?
I know. Yeah, I'm very good at the local worship, you know, and it's a genre that I also love because I'm able to express myself in my own dialect. You understand? It's different singing in English, which is good. You are able to transcend, you know, countries, but locally, you know, when you're able to sing to God in your local language, you can relate to it more, and then people also tend to relate it to that you know, style of worship too very more. So I think I would be doing more of that. It's not something that I don't do, you understand, but when I am in that era, it's also a different atmosphere on its own, because God has a way of working. And you know, I did mention that I love the ballad, you know, kind of music, you know, and it eventually flows along the same line. So I'm able to really express myself well in that category.
Great. Are there some people that you'd want to acknowledge for being part of a journey, and then any final words?
For you know, I've really worked with a lot of people, so not to leave people out, I wouldn't really want to make mention of specifics, but then I would say a very big thank you to my team, the New Birth Minstrels. I've said this time and over that they have really been with me. It wouldn't have been an easy journey doing it alone. I thank God for my pastors, for my music directors, and then also for my song producers, you know, who shape all these things we do live on stage. You know, in studio they do the mix and then they master it to ensure that it comes out well. So for that I work with two main people, Mymusicstory in South Africa, and then also with Miraculous music, yeah, with Empress. So those are the two people who produce my music mainly.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
Wow. Acoustic, that guy is, and Miraculous too.
Yes, so I have music in the pipeline with him. I think my recent projects, 2 years, for 2 years, he is working on them now, which we are yet to do the releases. Yeah, okay, so no, that's with Kweku. Yeah, okay. So Miraculous did songs on the Testify album. Oh, okay. Yes.
Wow. Kweku sticks.
He's doing amazingly well. Yeah. So you know, at a point he was also in Obuasi.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he played with Commissioned on drums before he moved to South Africa. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But now he has a studio there, also doing very, very good.
Wow. So Charlie, final words.
All right. So final words, I would say strive to make it to heaven, because the essence of our living is to make it there when Christ comes. You know, all the things we do day in and day out do not count, but eventually we have a place to go, and this can be made possible only by taking Jesus as your Lord and personal Savior. Don't just be a Christian, but you know, make him your Lord by obeying him, and that is why we ought to make him proud, such that when he comes we are able to receive our crown and you say, well done, you good and faithful servant. Yes, so that is what we are striving to do. So I'll encourage you, if you are watching this, to yearn to make Jesus proud. All right, my name is Max Gyams. You find me Max Gyams on all socials, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, MAXGYAMS, everywhere.
Charlie, it's been great talking to you.
All right, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming all the way here.
It's a pleasure, and I'm praying, you know, this actually blows, and then we have massive testimonies coming through from other ministers as well to bless the populace. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Most welcome.
Thank you so much.